Hey, what's up, guys? This is Carlos D. This is day two of where it all started. So, I was telling you guys yesterday about my struggles, right? Growing in the Dominican Republic and then moving here when I was 6, 7 years old, traveling back and forth for a couple years, living in the Dominican Republic from like 8 to about when I was 12 years old. But I forgot to tell you guys about my first real job. Well, technically, it wasn't a job, but it was a little job that I had in the Dominican Republic. And I remember it very vividly, even though I must have been maybe 8 or 9 years old. I used to be maybe a cashier or just a helping hand at an ice cream shop in the Dominican Republic, Sabana Grande de Boyá. Those of you guys who know Dominican Republic. And I used to work with this guy called Mimi. I don't know why they call him that, but that was his nickname. And just used to help him out, serve the ice cream, clean up. And I remember being very excited to go to work. I used to work Friday and Saturday, probably Sunday. I don't remember, need to check out my facts, but I know that I used to work with him every weekend, and it was super exciting just to have something to look up to on the weekend, something to do, earn my own money, and something where I was learning and growing. That was my first actual job, even though I was 8 or 9 years old. I do believe that we have to encourage our kids, no matter how old they are, to have those little entrepreneurial events where they're either doing a lemonade stand or selling books, selling something, selling candy. I know a lot of schools now do like candy sales, cookie sales, all those things. I really encourage that because I feel that I learned a lot from that, and I would have learned even more if I would have stayed doing that every year. So fast forward, coming to the US when I was 12 years old. I came, not much English because I was back and forth. Like I said, I lived there for a few years before. And that was the biggest struggle. I feel it was learning the language, learning English, and getting accustomed, and leaving a few friends behind in the Dominican Republic. Because in elementary school, that's where most of us made our friends. Some of us make our best friends in elementary school. Well, I made a couple of friends, very good friends, but unfortunately, long gone in the Dominican Republic. As at 12 years old, I didn't have the means to travel back and forth. So I went to school here. I started in middle school, and then I went into Pacific High School, and that's where I got my first job, working for an Italian guy that he had an Italian restaurant. And a family friend got us that job. Well, he got my brother that job, and then eventually he got me that job when I was 15 years old. And I remember that, good and bad about that job, because it was tough because, it was a very real job. It was something like I wasn't accustomed before. It was I had to clean, I had to get the kitchen ready, I had my own tasks to do, and again I had school also, with high school. And I used to work 4 or 5 days a week, depending on parties that we had on the weekends. Sunday, I think we were only open for events. So in that job, I remember very, very vividly asking for a promotion. I wanted to become a busboy, being the person that cleans the table and takes water to the table. And I remember that the manager over there told me that I couldn't be a busboy because I didn't know enough English. And that really motivated me to learn the language, to really get everything down as much as I could. So sometimes it takes a little bit of pressure from somebody to let us know that we got to work on something, we got to work on ourselves in order to accomplish a target that we have. And for me, it was that, so that got me into reading. I started picking up books at the library, started, associating with more people that spoke English rather than Spanish, because when you grow up, in a city, there's a lot of people that speak your language. There's a lot of people that speak Spanish, Hindu, whatever it is. If you're from another country, you could find other people that speak your language, and you could just hang around them and be comfortable. But being comfortable doesn't push you to grow, doesn't push you to get out of your comfort zone, get out of your skin. So that's when I started making friends. I remember I made a friend that was an Italian friend, completely different culture than I was used to. And fast forward 6, 7 months, then eventually I got that job as a busboy, and that was one of the most accomplishments that I feel most proud of, because I went from working in the kitchen, where technically it's a starter job. I didn't have a uniform. I just came to work. Where now, as a busboy, I had to wear a uniform. I had to wear a suit and tie, a vest. I had to come clean to work every day, because I was representing the restaurant. I was attending customers, and that's very big. For some of you guys that don't have a job yet, it's important to think about what kind of job you want to get. But I do encourage people to get in a job where you face customers, you talk to customers, you interact with customers, because that's the most important in and out of every business, is that customer interaction, is the sale, making the sale, or providing that service to the customers. Well, that's it for today, guys, for day 2. Today, day 3, tomorrow, I want to tell you guys how I got started into Tropical Juice Bar, and maybe go a little more in depth of why we got started in a company. And I hope you guys enjoying this. If you are enjoying it, thumbs up and subscribe. See you tomorrow.